Alright, hey everyone, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. We've got a Zelda 2 randomizer for you guys. This is Group D with jjschmidt77 versus DeviousRNG. On comms today, we've got Nightcrawler and Mirai, and tracking for us is Patrick. And feel free to take it away, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I've never seen DeviousRNG play before, so I'm excited to see this. We did see JJ Schmidt recently. I commed a game for him. I think you were there, right?
Yes, yeah, and I saw Devious play. I don't think it was on a restream necessarily, but I did see Devious play the other day.
Oh yeah, okay, good. So how do you think he's going to stack up to Mr. JJ?
Well, JJ obviously an older. I'll call him veteran. I mean, he's familiar with the randomizer and Zelda 2 in general. Still, just kind of as we talked to him last time in the post-race interview, knocking off the rust from before. We saw him once again practicing bosses before starting this up here. I think he's going to do pretty good, but Devious, I think he's kind of newer, and so if I was a betting man, I'm not, and hashtag not financial advice, I would probably take JJ in this one, given what we've seen so far in the performance.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. But these new racers, they can grow pretty fast, and especially during tournaments when a lot of racers tend to race practice matches outside of these games as well.
Yeah, anything can happen. I mean, I was just watching the Level Engine and Sparkles match, which is currently still going on, and what a start to that match. I don't want to give too much away, but it was quite a routing nightmare. And so both of them were running into so many dead ends, and they were kind of neck and neck for a while just because of that. So Level Engine was, of course, a stronger runner than Sparkles, but because he couldn't really just stretch his legs and take off, Sparkles was able to kind of keep alongside him for that time. But of course, they're still running, and I shut that stream off. So I'm over here. I'm not sure what's happening. I have to watch that later tonight after this one. Can't get enough C2R over here.
Yeah, and I mean, we could have the same thing happening between JJ and Devious. You never know.
Exactly.
And we got Star in chat. We got Zeroing in chat. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out here to Angry Demon Noises. I've not done a restream with him lately. I'm talking like this is like my 5th time doing commentary, but haven't done a restream with him. I think he came in at the last minute, so I'll give a shout out to him. I think Star and VXR, they're a little
warm ragged.
They're a little tuckered out from the Z2R party we had last night. It was a pretty big party, so they're a little tired.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, those guys and gals, they've been working their tushies off.
For real. I did commentary, I think 2 days. Was it back to back last week? Just a few days ago, whatever. This is again like my 5th day, but I was a little tired after that second one. I was like, man, if I had to do this like every day, it would maybe get a little draining.
Yeah, I honestly, I have to say no to races sometimes because I want everyone to be restreamed. I want everyone to get comms, but like, there's a limit to how much you can do.
Yeah.
All right, nice. We got Good Guy Goku in chat. Says it's his first time watching a Zelda randomizer race. I think you're in for a treat. This is not like most Zelda randomizers. You're going to see.
Is it a good bit different than your Like I'll be honest, I don't really know anything about. I mean, I played Zelda 1 back in the day. I played a little bit of Link to the Past back in the day. These are games of my childhood, but I've not looked into any other randomizers. For some reason, Zelda 2 is what I'm like laser focused on in terms of randomizer. And I'm so interested in this versus Z1 or Link to the Past. And I'll be honest, and I don't put me on the chopping block here, audience, but I've not played any other Zelda beyond Link to the Past. Those 3 were like my childhood. And then I never really owned another Nintendo console. So
I would at least give the Game Boy ones a shot. Link's Awakening and the Oracle games. They're
okay.
Pretty close to, old school. But yeah, so a lot of the other randomizers, they sort of, they mostly randomize the item placements. And that's where some of them actually stop. Others, they might do entrance rando, or Zelda 1 randomizer is my second favorite Zelda randomizer. It randomizes a lot of the, palace layouts and stuff. But Zelda 2 randomizer, we have community rooms randomized into normal rooms for palaces. All those rooms are mixed up with each other with completely new types of rooms that you don't see in the game. We got the overworld map that's totally randomized. We've got enemy HP. We got the effectiveness and requirements for different levels. We got the locations of spells. Lots is randomized here.
Yeah, this is amazing. Just everything just totally flips the game on its head. Like the vanilla Z2 game is fine as a vanilla Z2 game from 30 years ago, but this is just like totally breathes new life into the game. It's completely new every single time you fire it up. And while that's true for a lot of randomizers, it just seems excessive. There's just an excessive amount of options for this one.
Yeah. And it's even more. Dig Shake pushing another update today, a small one, but a cool one to turn.
Very true.
Dash always on. You were the one telling me about that earlier. I like this early Maze Island. They're going to potentially get some good items out of it.
Yes.
And a lot of experience potentially. God, I mean, those Lizalfos usually are worth quite a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so close to start. I don't know. Do you want to get another attack level, another life level before walking in here in case? No. Okay. I was just saying, in case you start like accidentally bodying the Lizalfos, you're likely going to just get one shot by especially the blue guys, maces and whatnot.
Well,
the glove.
Well, I guess we can see there that I win that gamble.
Yeah. It's funny. I played a seed earlier today, and I took the gamble on early Maze Island, and it did pay off. You just kind of look for the items. You just kind of make your way through. I guess it kind of comes down to experience too. It's just not like experience for levels, but experience with play. If you're capable of my God, boots and glove right there in the beginning here. Okay, all right, Nightcrawler, you win.
So for those who don't know, boots are required in like 99% of the games. It's kind of like the ladder, except even more laddery than ladder. Like if you've seen Z1R, the ladder's required for like 80% of seeds. Like this is required almost everyone. If you tell someone you had a game without the glove as a requirement, they probably won't believe you. But it does happen. It's happened to me once, and that's it.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't believe you, there's actually a Max Rando race that happened earlier this year between Zarnax 42 and Top Life. It was in one of the preliminary Swiss rounds where Zarnax and Top Life, neither one of them had the glove. It was a low gem seed. I forget exactly how many gems it was, but Zarnax took the gamble of going into GP without the glove, and it actually paid off for him. He was able to complete the seed, and he won the race. Not to give it away, but it happened earlier this year. And he won without the glove. So if anyone doesn't believe that you can't do it without the glove, that was a race I couldn't believe. I watched it. I was like, this is hell of a gamble, man, going in the Great Palace without the glove. But he did it. And there were several glove blocks along the way, but the glove blocks obviously steered him in the right direction to Darklink, and that was that.
Yeah, and one other thing, when you don't have the glove, the nice thing about that is if the glove isn't required, you get funneled in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually end up usually saving a lot of time, but that's like, it's just the most unlikely thing that could happen in this game. So
yeah, I agree that it is like 99% required. You'd be crazy to go in there, but at that point, it was either like, let's dig a bunch of palaces for the glove and a Max Rando seed, or let's just see what GP has to offer, and it worked out.
Honestly, like it's a good. If you think you're behind, if you've made some mistakes, you like look back on it and you say, I really shouldn't have gone to these palaces without ferry.
Yeah.
And it's cost me like 20 minutes. And then you get to GP and you haven't needed the glove yet. Like at that point, if you don't make a big gamble, you're not going to win. And in cases like that, maybe you make that gamble, or maybe your gamble is instead, taking your first left in GP, but that might not be enough. Looks like this magic container cave is a little tough today, but jjschmidt was able to take care of it. I think DeviousRNG did have a bit of a hard time in there, but DeviousRNG is heading back into Maze Island, so he is not going to miss out on those crucial items. The boots are not always required, but they do usually help, and they do usually save you time, and they can be required, maybe like 20% of the time.
Yeah, they just end up being super helpful, especially if Maze, even as something like simple as Maze Island with the river that runs through it, as we can see on Devious' side. If that river allows you a nice shortcut through Maze Island, then that's, and if Maze Island on top of that, if it's like a connection hub with a raft tile, which we do see a raft tile in this one, or if it's got several other connections to just get around, they're just nice. They're just nice to have. Plus, they're very fashionable.
speaking of fashionable, our racers are playing some custom sprites today. DeviousRNG with the Samus sprite that Chibi Plan made, and jjschmidt with the Iron Knuckle / Dragon Quest 1 hero that I believe he made. And I believe that was the first custom sprite that was used in Zelda 2 Randomizer, yeah. So a lot of people just call it Iron Knuckle, but it's actually not an Iron Knuckle. It's actually a cross between Zelda 1 and Dark Nut, my mistake calling it Iron Knuckle at first, and Dragon Warrior 1 Erdrick. Why he mixed those two things? You know, he made it for himself, so that's the sprite he wanted.
Yeah, I've seen Jackamus use that sprite as well, so it's a popular sprite. I've seen some others use it.
Or was it Jackamus who made it? Sorry, someone made it. It wasn't me. It wasn't Chibi. It wasn't Irene. I think it was JJ.
Oh, look at that cave right up there against the water like that. That looks like we're going to be taken into a caldera. It looks like just north of there.
Oh, nice.
I've seen the caves exit out, like they start you on a side, and then you go through the caldera, and then you exit out, requiring the boots. But you have to watch out because you can get stuck. Because as you exit the cave, if you don't have the boots, you can't actually step off the cave tile and then back onto it to go backwards. So at that point, you just have to up an A. Mm-hmm. It's usually not too detrimental, though. It's not a big deal usually.
And that probably will be something that Dig Shake fixes eventually, because he did fix that happening with like hammer blocks.
I remember you saying that. I wasn't around during that time. It must have been kind of like a beta phase for the 4.0 randomizer. I know that several people were like testing it ahead of time.
Yeah, I wasn't testing it because I had no internet at that time, but he did stream him making it, so that was a lot of fun to watch. But fortunately, both of our runners have the boots, so getting stuck on the water is not a concern here. And for those who haven't seen Zelda 2 randomizers before, the boots are different than they are normally in Zelda 2. In normal Zelda 2, there's only specific water tiles you can walk on, and there's no visual indication as to which ones they are. So you sort of just have to like grind against the water until you go somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So Zelda 2 Randomizer has two modes. The more typical mode is what we're playing now, which is also the more historical mode for the randomizer, which is you can walk on any water tile. And then the newer mode is often used in like islands, biomes, and stuff. And Dig Shake coded that in. So basically, there are specific tiles you can walk on, but they're fairly obvious where they are. They're not visually different, but they're like bridges between islands and stuff. Yeah,
there's actually a road tile that denotes where the water is walkable when you have that flag enabled. So I wasn't aware of that. I played a seed a long time ago when I first began this, and I was totally confused as to how to get around. But the Z2R wiki does tell you that that's like that. Mm-hmm. So I want to point out here that in Jump Cave here, moving from right to left, we did see that red Dyra giving both runners one health, and we're seeing, even more red Dyras. They're just getting in to get it out of there at this point. But the deal is when they first enter in, we're past that part at this point. But one thing you want to kind of master when you're playing this is the neutral jump, I believe is what it's called. It's probably called a few things, but it's where you get momentum with Link and you jump and you stop pressing the direction key that you are moving, because the enemies, especially the red Dyras, will read your input. So if you're jumping and you're holding that direction, the Dyras are just going to back up. They're just going to back up and you're going to jump into them and you're not going to be able to get over them. Whereas right there in the beginning of Jump Cave, we might see it again because it looks like it's a pass-through that they'll have to access a few times. But you can get over that initial red Dyra even without downstab and get on the other side of them and just pin them up against that little step and not take too much damage from them. But we saw several deaths from both of our runners on that same red Dyra.
Right. I mean, that's a tough place to encounter a Dyra, but if you had like the Reflect spell, it's easy because Reflect allows you to just block any projectile. And in fact, non-projectiles that normally go through your shield, I believe, get blocked with the Reflect spell.
Yeah.
All right, so Dash in Naburu. This should make things a little bit faster. Dash replaces fire in these seeds, and like fire, it starts off fairly expensive and it gets cheap fairly quickly, at which point you will see most of the runners use it, just sort of face plant into everything in their way.
Yeah, it takes a bit of, you really have to learn where you can properly use dash and where to use it, where not to use it, and try to keep yourself maybe under a speed limit at times. Otherwise, just holding in a direction and jumping like a maniac does tend to sometimes set you back, and you end up taking a whole bunch of damage that you wouldn't have taken otherwise had you not just used the spell.
Yeah. And what's pretty interesting right now is that these runners are pretty much neck and neck with each other, despite diverging at the beginning. And
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Devious, I think, maybe not taking the best path out of town here. Oh, Karok disappears with the heart, and in a maze lies a glove.
They both know that, though. It's interesting he listened to that again.
All right, so to get the spell out of Saria, you've got to look under the table to get the mirror. Is Devious coming back in? Why are you coming back in here, buddy? Oh, he's getting the spell?
I don't think he has thunder.
Okay, cool. Sorry. But yes, getting thunder early, that's pretty sweet.
I didn't see anything else up here. I don't think we went too far beyond the connecting cave that brought us up here. We saw the grass tile that had a heart container on it. They now have 5 heart containers. They got the magic container that's giving them 5 as well. And what's over here to the southeast, southwest? Nothing down here. We're going to have to check the east side up over here. We saw the raft tile on Maze Island. That could be the connector that leads us off of the western area here. So the raft may be buried in a palace. It may be available in an item cave still. I don't think we saw a medicine cave at this point. I guess I haven't been keeping exact track of the caves. We saw magic cave. We saw trophy cave, I believe. There's Fairy Town, so medicine fairy.
Oh, wow, really? Okay, yeah. And so they're definitely going to be picking up the hint for that. That will give them a huge amount of information about how the logic of the seed works out, because you're not supposed to be able to enter... You're not supposed to have to enter palaces without either fairy or the magic key. So depending on the hint that they get from the lady who guards medicine, or wants medicine, whatever, it's going to tell us if they need to look for the magic key or if they should, really, really look for fairy first.
Yeah, for real. If this is like a lies on the east, well, oh, there it is. Was that go east to find the medicine, or was that go west?
Go east.
Okay, so we saw the cross there in Peabag Cave or Pillar Cave. Again, we still need Medicine Cave, and I don't know if we saw Heart Container Cave.
I don't think we have.
There's a few more caves over on the eastern side here. JJ really wanting to kill this Dyra, but getting slapped in the face with an axe. So looks like he might. I wasn't watching how much experience they give from earlier. They seem to kind of be avoiding them, but we'll see here. He could probably 200. Yeah, we'll take that.
That's good. Okay, Devious. Okay, that's a serious foible right there. He found fairy, and that's great, but you want that hint to give you that information. Yeah. Now, fortunately for him, it's in the east, so he's probably going to check all the caves, but he's probably going to get fairy after jjschmidt as a result of that. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it could be New Kasuto as well, so it could just be over time as they unlock the item in New Kasuto, gets the spell, natural progression, may not hurt them, may not hurt Devious all that much, but it may. I don't know. And we see the Maze Island connector bridge here as well. They've got the boots. They can get around this little area here. It looks like it's boots blocked as it is to the top. Devious, go up. Yeah, you could go around there, buddy. Come on. Oh, I think he wants the hint. He heard us talking. And dashing through town on a one-horse open Samus is a good way to do that, especially since you can get a magic refill here. And if he wants to save a little bit more time, he can cast it real quick. Yep, there you go. Oh, doesn't matter anymore, though. Yeah. Saved like half a second, maybe. But half a second can matter, as we saw recently. Yes, for sure. That was a hell of a race for sure. I don't want to give anything away if people are recapping this, but that was a great race. That was the JJ Schmidt J Cobra race. That was a good that was a good race. What? Okay, I think Devious is being a little silly here by going through the whole town instead of just exiting on the left. But still not a huge foible. So he's kind of back. I think he lost a little bit of time there by doing that town a little bit inefficiently, but not too bad.
Neither one of them touching the actual interactable tile on Maze Island Bridge. I don't know if JJ kind of walked around it there for a moment. I wasn't sure. I hope they come back. I hope they understand that it's just that one tile that touches the land, which is, I mean, they will eventually get it as they probably walk over it a few more times, but would have liked to see where that goes right away. But this is Medicine Cave, and we did see a large enemy drop a key. So if they're in need of keys for any reason before they find the magic key, which is not found here in Medicine Cave, then they can, if they so choose, jump into a palace earlier than the randomizer wants them in there. But again, that's up to them. You know, I mean, it's possible. You know, it's possible if maybe you got a key, 2 keys or something, and you run into Palace 1. You know, it might just be worth dipping in there. I don't know. It all depends. You know, context matters, situation matters. So, but it is a thought for sure. I wouldn't be jumping into any of the larger palaces for sure. Just with 1 or 2 keys in my pocket, that's probably not worth it.
Cool Maze Island here. Death Mountain here. We have a canyon Death Mountain. Now, with the way the caves work in most seeds now, well, they have found one of the locations. They found Spectral Rock right there. They can't access it yet. But if you pay attention to where the caves lead and stuff like that, you can sort of figure out where stuff is sometimes.
Yeah, the connection caves, they're going to be, with these flags, they're going to be pointing in the direction that they lead. So you're looking kind of for just the structure of the caves. If you find a cave that's kind of on its own and it doesn't really look like it belongs there, then it's probably Hammer Cave or a connection cave of some sort. We've already seen the raft tile in Maze Island and the Maze Island. Oh, there you go.
Well done for Devious.
Perfect. This could be a slight edge on Devious' side then if he finds this and it's a useful item.
Now, we know it's not going to be medicines, but it could be a magic key. It could be hammer to unlock Spectral Rock and one location on the east, which could end up being where they get the medicine. Exactly.
It could be the raft to get us to the east. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's over in Maze Island. That was...
I thought he got both items, and he doesn't have the raft, so he can't... Unless it's a bridge on the bottom, and it's just really short.
Did he just up an A out of Death Mountain to come back here? I wasn't watching. He got back here pretty quickly. He was just in Death Mountain.
I think so. I guess he's going to check this. I think that's a raft tile, though. So I don't think that's going to take him anywhere.
Yeah, we're about to see what this is. There's just one more enemy that stands between Devious and the item here. That was a big pea bag.
Nice. He got both an attack level up and a magic level up. I was going to say magic's probably going to be useful, and there's a magic container. He might feel a bit disappointed about that now, but they're going to be getting fairy soon, and you know he's going to want every drip and drop of magic that he can find.
So I'm a little confused here. They've seen all of the caves at this point, I believe. Again, I'm not sure if we saw a heart container cave, but we were blabbering a little bit in the beginning. There could have been a heart container cave there for sure that I just didn't see. We saw raft tile. We know that the raft tile is going to lead somewhere. We're missing another connection cave. It's not on Maze Island. The other connection cave is not on Maze Island. Mm-hmm. It could be buried in Death Mountain somewhere. We don't really have a verifiable way to the east just yet. So, you know, not wanting to dive into palaces, not supposed to be diving into palaces. We're still looking for a connection cave to the east, or a way to connect to the east. There it is. Amazing.
That's a huge boon for Devious.
This is big.
All right, Shield Town, not necessary, but I think you pick it up at this point, don't you?
Yeah, you know, it all depends on how comfortable you feel with combat. Again, it can be a little dangerous here on the east. Yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks, Grandma.
Can be a little dangerous here on the east. So the shield spell can help survivability.
That was Grandma's wallet, by the way.
Yeah, I just went into the house and stole it.
All right, well that's great for Devious. Might be the edge that he's looking for here.
This could be one of the things that JJ maybe isn't, again, fully aware of with all of the 4.0 changes, because this is the what is that flag called? It's called connections whatever goes or something, or anything goes is the flag now, and that means you can just find connections anywhere and they can lead anywhere, but the randomizer will have logic to that. You'll be able to reach everywhere you're supposed to be able to reach, but maybe JJ's not fully familiar with the anything goes. Maybe he thought that, well, there must be something he missed. Maybe he wasn't aware that there's another connector cave buried in Death Mountain. And honestly, I didn't even see where that was exactly, because just looked away and we were talking, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's on the east.
I think another thing to point out here is that Thunder is only 72 magic at this point, and they have 80. Actually, JJ Schmidt has 80, and DeviousRNG has 96. Wait, oh god, my brain.
Yeah, 96. That was the magic container that came out of Hammer Cave that JJ also did not find. That I also did not see Devious go into, so I don't know where that is exactly.
Yeah, but I want to say, I was going to say JJ Schmidt was making very good use of Thunder here, and DeviousRNG now sort of discovering the Thunder spell, I think.
He's got the Devious has the trophy. Do we remember what was in Rudo? That was that was not good.
Yeah.
Do we see what was in Rudo?
I don't recall, unfortunately.
Rudo has life. Tracker checking in. Thank you, trackers.
They may not
no
go
momentum into the lava.
All right, well, I mean, I think he's not going to want to die here. I think that's the play, because he wants to get that medicine. That's
a good call. I mean, this sucks though. You begin being thrown into these lava encounters early on. I guess maybe we just lay the blame on Devious for walking onto the lava tiles. Knowing that that's probably where they're going to lead to. Yeah. Wow, this is actually going to take him to the cave, though. This is a slight bug. I've ran into this on Maze Island. I don't know what triggers it, but I have submitted this as a bug report.
It's not a bug.
It's a feature. Raft cave. No raft,
I will
but
show you the world.
Yeah.
I call it magic carpet, but that's just me.
Is that something you've seen before in previous?
Yeah.
Is that something that's been around before 4.0?
Yeah, it's been around.
Okay.
Dig Shake, I think he's with me. He doesn't want to remove it. It's too magical.
Yeah, one time though I ran into a problem on Maze Island where it locked me out of getting past one of the encounters. It was just really unfortunate because the way it dropped me off, it would put me into the rock wall, and I could only get out by walking back into the encounter. So it was just really unfortunate the way that worked out, but it's pretty rare, I would imagine, that happened.
All right, so Devious in this item cave, getting the heart. Okay, that'll help him with his survivability. He has low lives, I believe, right now, but a little bit more health. So even without the life spell, I think he's going to be okay for a while. He's really, I'm sure, hoping to find that medicine or magic key. If he comes across that, that's cool too.
Yeah, we're still looking for Desert Tile and Risen P-Bag Cave, I believe. Okay, so JJ is back in Death Mountain, probably getting that feeling that he needs to be here, looking for that connector of some sort.
Good stuff. I'm glad he's not going to forget about that.
Yes, yeah. Man, these swap encounters full of bubbles and moas and just crap flying from the sky. They're so annoying. You want to just cast dash and get out of those. If you got a cheap ferry to get out of those, let's just slow you down. And man, a lot of moas. I guess the cross was really coming in handy here. So is the thunder spell, apparently.
Yeah, God, that cross. Good thing JJ has that too.
It's really hit or miss. Sometimes you walk over to the east and there's not really that many invisible moas and there's nothing to worry about. But other times you get thrown into an early east, you've only got 4 heart containers or whatever you're playing with on that flag set. And the moas at low life levels, they're gonna chew through your health real fast, and you can't even see them. So there's nothing you can do about that. That just feels bad to have that happen to you.
Devious is on his last life, right? I think it might have been a good idea to fill up in New Kasuto.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Well, at least the cave wasn't that dangerous. All right, JJ Schmidt on the case, not going to get left behind. Devious does not have the medicine yet, so it's not a clear advantage yet, really.
Yeah, and again, not even sure where he found either Hammer Cave or the Connector Cave, so I don't even know if JJ's in the right spot.
I think he's in the right general area. A little bit further north, you'll find both, I think. Oh, he's going through caves. I think this will lead in the right direction, though, so it's not a huge thing.
Yeah, seems to be. It might be a little segregated here on the east. It looks like so. That's just why he's diving into caves to see if anything gets is a pass through to something useful.
Irene saying it's weird not to see Samus not spinning, but actually Samus. Oh God! Last life.
Wow!
Just wait for it to fall down.
Yeah. Come, just lure it over. Just lure it over. No, just stand high. Oh.
Is that Ganon right there? No, he's got one more life. Or two? One. Okay, it's fine for him. Alright, yes, Samus actually wouldn't spin in the original Metroid if you weren't if you were like very delicate with your jumps, so.
I think the spinning animation is reserved for down stab.
Yeah, you like go into the little ball and fall.
Yeah.
Things.
Or yeah, you go into the ball. Right.
Well, more or less. I don't remember if it's actually the morph ball or if it's curved up. Guess we'll see.
We got a free reflect here in Nibiru. And JJ, did he make his way to the east? Did we completely miss that? We did. He's in New Kasuto.
No, yeah,
Welcome,
I saw. I thought everyone saw. That's why I didn't say anything about it. All right.
I'm slacking over here.
He did not get the Hammer Cave item though. All right. So.
Yeah, that actually isn't like he's locked out of the pee bag, right? He can't get the pee bag out of the woman's basement, or he can't steal the woman's purse. I mean, that's why it kind of like works out for him that it's not actually like the glove. I mean, they have the glove already, but something else that's like the medicine could have been the medicine. But I'm sure he'll be back here then. That's kind of a waste of time. We already know what's in there, but he doesn't, so it's likely he'll spend time coming back here if he doesn't find things that he needs.
It's a chance that JJ is going to come across the medicine first. Nope, trophy. Okay. Oh yeah, Devious already got that one. All right. It's kind of looking like it might be spell blocked at this point. We got the desert tile left, so there it is. Okay.
There it is. Out on a rock, nice and hot medicine.
Hot.
probably helping. It probably says right in the bottle, keep refrigerated, keep in a cool place. But there it is, just sitting in the desert.
Well, I mean, let's just hope it's not like one of those super cooled ones, like Moderna or something. Yeah, you gotta keep that nice and chilled, like you're saying.
This is our Risen P-Bag Cave on Devious' side, so he's going to have all the overworld tiles clear here. Just another P-Bag. I mean, it's nice to get the level. But I mean, it's just... Maybe you wanted something else.
I think maybe that was the correct answer. Sort of getting the magic level, even though it means... maybe less favorable gems, and also, where's my brain today?
Well, when they get fairy,
and wasted experience too. That's what I was trying to say. But
yeah,
making fairy cheaper is probably the more important thing. Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, he's done. He's just here to explore. There's the raft tile. That's where the raft tile is going to take us. He's just looking at palaces. I guess here's two just sitting right next to each other. If one of these is GP, that means GP is going to be not in Death Valley. Now,
I do have to say that's not good for the land value of these palaces.
Not at all.
You want to have them sort of in their own space so that you can really emphasize their strengths, in real estate.
Yeah, and who wants to jump to a palace that's surrounded by lava?
And like, what if your next door neighbor is like Gooma or something? Like, do you really want to live next to Gooma?
I mean, if you lived in the one surrounded by lava, your neighbor is a mutant horse, bipedal horse.
Yeah, I think
that's freak show.
I think I'd be cool with Barb as a neighbor, though. I think she'd be a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah, and probably barbecues all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We just saw the item room on Devious' side at the bottom of the elevator there, but of course he doesn't have really any way to. He's just taking a gamble in P1 here to see if he can find Horsehead, I guess, to see if Horsehead is going to drop. This is going to be Horsehead. To see if Horsehead's dropping a key, we don't know. It's going to be random. So this is kind of a crapshoot. I don't know if this is worth it. At this point, you've got the medicine. I would have probably up an aid. You know that these two palaces are not GP, and you know you've got the layout of the east. Head back to the west, hit up Mito, get your fairy spell, and start digging palaces properly. Doesn't look like a key. It's a key bag.
He does have a key. Okay. Go pass. There we go. Okay. You just need like 40 experience. You just stab this skeleton. That's perfect.
Oh, yeah. This is great.
Kill the bubble. Okay. Well, we can do this too. I would have killed the bubble. That'd be fast. I think it's a little too much of a deviation at this point, though, but, you know, it's all good. I wonder if he's going to go for the magic level after this, or if he's going to, the attack level after this, or yeah. Kind of makes the gem not worth a lot, but he does get an attack level. And there's Reflect for JJ Schmidt. The website died, Irene said? Hold on. Twitch died?
Everything is good on our special dashboard, also known as the 85-inch OLED LG display, 8K display that's in front of us in the ZSR Restream commentary booth.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's got the gold trim around the side too, right?
That is pure gold. And that's the medicine for JJ. So we're going to see if he gets out of the east faster than Devious does. Or did. He's heading back now. Skipping, turning in the trophy for life, saying, I don't want that. Forget that noise.
Earth, fire, wind, water, staff. Like Staphylococcus?
3 Lizalfos, 2 red, 1 orange. Both of the colors worth 150 there. Got 3 Lizalfos down. A nice cool 450 for a quick Thundercast there. Maybe a good grinding spot if necessary, but probably not at this stage.
I think JJ Schmidt's going to kill one more Mo before he up an ace.
Yeah,
if he does.
Yes.
Remember the magic word? Yeah, might be worth checking out. Later.
Maybe that's the magic key. Who knows?
That would
Vanilla
be great.
spot.
JJ just showing off a little bit. That was at standing stabbing height. All right. Well, since Devious did get his lives back at the palace, he's got a lot. He's got a lot of lives in reserve here. He's back on the west, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's heading back to the Pastor Cave. He's heading back to Jump to the Caldera and then over to Mito to get Fairy and Downstab and probably start cruising through palaces at that point, I hope.
And JJ's already going to be turning in the medicine. The trophy, which is going to get him life, I think.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Why not?
You know, it could come in handle. It's, I don't know. If you're trying to save on time, you do skip life. But I'll be honest, how many times can life maybe just help you clutch out a particular situation? I know that you can't always bank on that happening. Maybe it's super helpful on an early Guma or something like that you're getting 2-shot by him or something, and life is giving you an extra chance to stay alive. It's very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's hit or, it's hit or miss. It's a gamble regardless, but maybe it'll pay off. Maybe it'll pay off for JJ. Maybe we'll see JJ and Devious in very similar situations throughout their 2 runs here. as they route this seed, and maybe life will come through on JJ's side. And it, if Devious had it, he would have been able to survive. Who knows? Maybe JJ will be able to cover more ground because he'll have a little bit more life. It's, what is it, like 90 seconds to get that? I don't know if we see the seed, if we see the two racers end within that time period, similar to the J Cobra JJ, where the J Cobra's walking around or going through Saria instead of walking around with the boots. That was funny. Maybe we'll see a very similar thing play out in this seed.
I mean, that's entirely possible. And yeah, in that case, yeah, if one of them had life, they might have been able to get to Dark Link through those waffle rooms that were a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Good
So we're looking at Fairy at Magic 46. So they're going to get 2 casts of it right now. Well, at
one
least,
of them is.
Yeah, Devious is. He's going to get 2 casts. He's got 96. That's going to be pretty much his entire. The 2 casts are going to be pretty much his entire magic pool right now. And JJ missing out on that hammer cave, not getting that magic container might cost him here. He got life, so maybe he'll survive a little bit longer, but he's also going to be taking more death abuses if there are a lot of key doors in these palaces as they begin to push into these here soon.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to think about is, it'll help keep him alive, that life spell, but he might not want to stay alive. He might want to die.
That's true. Or when you've got the life spell, you're sometimes tempted to cast it. And then if you cast it, he might not have the enough at that point in time for a fairy cast. So that could come back to haunt him as well.
All right, there we go. Yeah, so the downstab is, yes, the morph ball. Yeah, I think we all wish that that there was unlimited room in the video memory of the NES, so we could put in stuff like Shine Sparks and stuff for Samus. That'd be really cool. What?
Yeah, essentially, Digshay could do that, but it would pretty much only be like an emulator thing, right? It would not really work on a console after some point.
Yeah, I don't like doing hacks like that.
Where
you
limiting.
have to rely on, outside interference from, outside programs and stuff.
Yeah, plus we have several runners who play on console. Chromaticalism, J Coper, a lot of Z2 runners, just, Dude and Light and those guys, they play on console as well. So you'd simply just be cutting them out if you... I mean, obviously it's an optional thing, but, I don't know. Maybe it's worth looking into, maybe not. Still having trouble with these lava encounters over here. That was a late fairy from Devious, still getting thrown into the lava there.
Oh, there we go again. Nope.
Again!
The fairy thumbs up on the way down. That has to... I've got to make a shirt of that. Like thumbs up, like Terminator 2.
Yeah, that would be great. So JJ's got Fairy now, and he'll be jumping into a palace soon enough. Is he going to check this one right here? I don't remember what this was. This was 3 or 6.
3 or 6, yeah. Might as well do it. I mean... Okay, never mind.
I think this is...
Go for it.
I was going to say, this. I think this is P2 over here for Devious.
I think JJ Schmidt is going to be taking as many magic levels as he can in the near future. Because he has enough...
Probably a good
attack.
idea.
Yeah. I really wish he got that hammer cave item. But Devious is... You know what? We were... At the beginning, we were saying, oh, well, JJ Schmidt is an older racer, but, he is shaking off the rust and learning some of the new stuff. But he does have a lot more experience than Devious, at least as far as we know. I mean, Devious could have been practicing night and day like Trails or something. Yeah,
you never know. There's no reason for people to stream, and this is going to be Helmet Head here for Devious. There's no reason to stream your practice. There are some people who love to stream their practice and all the seeds that they run, and that's perfectly fine. But there's nothing that says you have to do that. So he could have been practicing offline for quite a bit. I guess we'll see. Ultimately, I always say that this comes down to combat, and we'll have to see how well they perform in these palaces here. Helmet Head was very easy at Attack 5, and we'll see what Guma and Barba, we'll see them digging through palaces. Maybe there'll be a bunch of blue Iron Knuckles, Doom Rattlers, as we're seeing there, take out JJ. And maybe JJ has the edge in combat versus Devious. I don't know. I guess time will tell here.
I'm gonna say I think that continuing on in Palace 2 after Helmet Head was a mistake. He was still like 400 experience away from another level, so he was not going to get an easy gem abuse. I mean, maybe he casts Thunder on the Smog when he gets what he wants, but I mean, maybe he gets. Oh god, he's going to do it. No, he's not. I don't see the benefit here because he doesn't really have the resources to get like an item that's after here, and I don't really see an item after here being that useful.
Yeah, they've got everything that they need for go mode, unless they get the lucky, like they just stumble across the magic key. It's not something you're normally hunting for at this point. You're maybe hoping for it, again, if you don't have to rely on fairy all that often then. But sometimes you also just got to eat that cheap gem. It really sucks that there's nothing to really get experience off of, and you got to spend 300 on a gem when you wish you could throw 2,000 plus at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes you just have to accept that your gem's going to suck.
This is a problem I'm currently struggling with when I'm running. I get close enough and I'm thinking, if I could just get this level, we can get 2 levels out of here. This would be great. And then next thing you know, 90 seconds, 120 seconds later, I still don't have the level. I'm 4 rooms away and it's like, okay, I should not have done this. Mm-hmm. Just eat the gem. Just eat the gem. Don't be married to your experience. Maybe very early on in the game when levels are a bit more important, but at this stage, you got to get enough experience under your belt to where you're okay not needing attack 7 30 minutes in to be able to progress through the seed. You should be able to progress through, attack 3, 4, 5 is a luxury sometimes. Mm. And so, you have to get used to progressing with lower levels, and that'll make you comfortable. That'll again, unmarry you from your experience. You have no problem up and Aing. You'll just forget it. Let's go. I saw Level Engine in the race he had earlier hit 1,700 out of 2,300 experience for his attack level. He really wanted, and he just up and 8 out of nowhere. I was like, wow. He didn't even try to get that level. He didn't even care. He's a very good runner, and he did not care one bit. And I wish I had that confidence. So maybe one day.
Yeah, I also get sort of married to my level sometimes, and you just have to go through that divorce, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yep. I mean, I don't envy jjschmidt. Oh wow, I think his magic went down to 35 or so. I think so.
I think so. They both have Magic 5, and I'm pretty sure I just saw that over on Devious' side as well.
So that's great for JJ.
Yeah, that really works out in his favor there, not needing that extra magic container too early on.
He might save Karok for later if he has to, because Karok, you have to get to Karok with some magic left.
This is true. Or some lives left to where you can at least cast Reflect once, take a death, so that you can then ferry through.
Exactly. I mean, really, what are lives if not just an extended magic bar, right?
This is going to be 2 levels here for Devious at the end. Oh, not enough magic, as we were just saying. Mm-hmm. Not enough magic to cast Fairy here, but he's got enough lives, I believe.
That's true, yeah. Without keys, not only do you have to get to Karok and then cast Reflect, you also have to cast Fairy one more time. Yeah, fortunately, he does still have that last life. It could have been a little sad if that was one less. All right, JJ
this is going to be
this nasty room.
Yeah, it's going to be a forced fairy or jump, but jump is locked behind the child.
Yeah, did we get a hint for where the child is? Okay, the fairies are kissing. Cute.
No, I don't think they bothered to go in there and talk to the NPC.
That does make sense. Still, jump is nice to have.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like,
oh, what is... That's weird. I'm sorry.
You like that elevator right there?
Yeah, what the heck? And you can get by it anyway. I didn't expect that. I thought you'd have to ferry by it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that's like that. I don't know if there's any history behind that room or why that's like that, or if that's an accident that it's like that and it's just kind of left in. But it's a community room, and you know what that is? I'll be honest, I did know what was up with that. So here's the deal: there's an item room that is a community room that can appear at the top of an elevator that would have the exact same look as that elevator room would, had that elevator room not had that little cutout, that little extrusion there. So it would look exactly, I guess that's just to simply keep them separate so that on first sight.
Well, there's other things you could do for that. You could put
This
like
is
a
true.
window or something or whatever.
Little piece of fire in the wall or something.
Yeah. Although that does give me the idea that a fairy blocked elevator would be kind of interesting.
That might be interesting. Yeah.
I think these guys don't mind going through Jump Cave. I hate going through Jump Cave, but when you get 500 experience for casting Thunder after through it, that's not the worst.
Yeah, I don't know how often. I think Devious is. I'm not sure why he's. Well, I don't know. I guess routing wise, that worked out best for him back through Jump Cave and into the same palace that JJ's in. But Devious has already placed 3 gems. He took that gamble on P1, which worked out for him because there was no block to Horsehead, and he had that 1 key in reserve that he had gotten out of Medicine Cave very early on, and that worked out for him. Then he was in P2. That was a quick P2 and a quick helmet head fight, and then he had just taken care of Karak, and now we're here in P6, and I only know that because JJ just found Barba.
And the item he had in here was not blocked by Ribbonac, the wonders of community rooms.
Yeah, that's right. That was a magic container. So now he's up to speed with Devious, but Devious may find that. I'm not sure. And this hopefully JJ won't go back to the woman in Nukasudo. Again, we know what that is. We know it's a waste of time. It's not the magic key, I don't know. Maybe honestly, if he just passes by there, I would be tempted to go in and just check it. She's right there. She's right at the front. So maybe he's still going to be tempted to check it. You're going to be disappointed either way.
Now, I do find when Barba's going back down into the lava, it's best to do a standing stab followed by a crouching stab, because you're a lot more likely to get both stabs in.
That's interesting you say that. I practice it in such a way to where my crouching stab, I get both of them in.
Yeah, but it's tighter timing, I think.
It probably is.
Fortunately, jjschmidt can cast Fairy here.
Does he have a key? That sometimes you ferry over that just to save a key.
He didn't have any. Okay.
I
wouldn't be too surprised if he checked the next room just to see if there was like an easy key there. Taking the life level, in his position, I might have hoped for the best in the next room. Hoped for 300 experience to get another magic level. But, because I don't really like getting life over life 5 until the end. That's me.
Yeah. Devious has magic 6, and I'm waiting to see if Fairy has come down from 35-ish.
Or it could be life coming down, and that could make a big difference.
That's true as well.
Dash also probably would come down, because usually fire, dash come down every level, right?
Yeah, I don't know the multiplier stuff behind that. I just know that, like you said, at some point, dash and fire just become extremely cheap and ridiculous to use. And even when you play with fire, we're not playing with fire in this flag set, but when you've got like fairy, fire linked with fairy, or fire linked with thunder, it's a whole lot of fun. There's a whole lot of abuse there. You could just ferry through rooms in GP and just trivialize them, or you could just be casting thunder like a maniac. That helps as well. So yeah, very interesting. Mm-hmm. This randomizer can throw all kinds of curveballs your way depending on the flag set.
And I'm always playing with fire.
Yeah, we've been playing with fire a little bit in some of the Seed of the Week stuff that Ellen Heffley puts together, and it's interesting because we've got 2 completely different flag sets right now that we're playing with, and you have to make sure you're looking at the flag set, reviewing it, and kind of burning it into your brain. One of them even has the magic container requirements enabled for the Eastern spells, and so you can find yourself forgetting that and just walking to the East thinking, oh, I'm gonna get all these spells because you found an early East, and then you walk up to the wizard guy, he's like, yeah, sorry bro, you need more magic containers.
That was a very easy VOD for jjschmidt. He might have gotten an accidental encounter skip, but pretty easy VOD.
Yeah, into maybe not so easy P5. I don't know if this is exciting to do as a second palace. He's getting the most difficult palaces out of the way. And Devious still looking for Barba, although he's definitely on the right path here. I'm pretty sure we saw JJ come through this room, and I believe it resulted in Barba's location.
Honestly, for JJ, he's got plenty of resources. Oh well, That's actually a big pull. Going into VOD early, going to face off against Boss Guma early, that's going to get him the magic key, which could save him time over Devious. Although at this point, Fairly's pretty cheap and they got a lot of magic, but I'd say that's boon.
Yeah, I would never say no to the magic key, no matter how much Fairy is. It's just, easier to not have to worry about casting the spell. If you do have dash, which these guys do, they can abuse dash and not have to worry about that Fairy cast anymore. And as always, which we'll probably have to mention every single time, there could be that room in GP that requires a key. So Who knows if we see that magic key will then, of course, be required.
And don't forget that Devious, when he was in Karok's palace, he did have to take a detour after beating Karok. That probably wasted at least 50 seconds. JJ's not going to have to do that. Yeah,
that's what I meant to say a moment ago as well, is that what you were getting at is that simply JJ would have an accelerated run through these palaces, not having to worry about any death abuses, like you say, after Karok there. So maybe he's got a chance to catch up here. It's entirely possible. To answer Mr. Bus Driver in the chat, the question is, playing with fire is permanent fire spell on? I don't think there's a permanent fire spell on, but playing with fire, you've got two options. You can just leave it as it is in vanilla, which means it only affects the invulnerable enemies, or you could combine it with a random spell, and you don't get a chance to choose that. There's no option in the randomizer to specifically pair it up with another spell. It'll just be random. So you may, when you cast fire, you may also be casting thunder. And likewise, if you find thunder before you find fire, then you cast thunder, and all of a sudden you can shoot fire, you'll know that fire is linked to thunder. And so it's probably something you want to look for, because fire is going to be extremely cheap in the later magic levels.
Yeah, fire linked thunder is pretty hype. There's a 1 out of 7 chance of getting that, and when it happens, it's like it totally changed the game, because now you're no longer Swordsman Link, you are now Wizard Link.
This is very true.
Thanks for the compliment, good guy Goku. That's kind of what we're going for. Because a lot of people, they say that Zelda 2, it's so hard, you want to watch that, it's so difficult. So we try
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
The combat is very forgiving, and I will say I read right above your line there, good guy Goku. So thank you as well for that. I will always say that routing and the logic is very easy to understand. What is most difficult about this game is simply learning the combat. If you don't have momentum and you're fighting with Link, he weighs 4 tons. He's a bag of bricks. So if you lose your momentum with Link, and you end up just taking way too much damage. It's all about learning how to attack, keeping your momentum, just the crouching down stab, the double hits, things like that. Some of those are a little bit more difficult to pull off, take a lot of practice, but once you get it down, things are incredibly satisfying. And while you're not watching, say, like, neither Devious nor JJ are like top pro runners here, if you're really looking to see more of how those people, how those particular top runners execute, you're looking for specific, like Rose City Saint, Trails, Chromaticalism. Jay Coper's good as well. Level Engine just played earlier today. He's very good. Who else?
Buzz Thunder,
yes. Although I haven't seen Buzz play in a while, so I'll have to take your word for that one.
Yeah, he barely plays and somehow stays really good. So I don't know how that works out, but it does.
He's just a natural.
Yep. All right, looks like JJ Schmidt is going to pick up upstab. I'd say that's a good choice. A lot of the older, better runners say don't get upstab, but I say do.
So Devious doesn't have upstab, but he did not come back to, at least I don't think he does. But here's the thing. Devious is still in P6. He's unable to find Barba. This is really kind of setting him back at this point. We saw JJ, he was already in P6 when Devious showed up, but he found Barba not too far after, and not too long after, and he's been out of P6 for a while. He was able to do P5, so he's got the 2 hardest palaces out of the way. We already know that P2 is not too bad, assuming he goes the right way. Perhaps you can go the wrong way in P2. I didn't really see the full mapping of P2 when Devious was in there, but he found Helmet Head pretty soon after entering. Karok was not too far in, and as you mentioned earlier, we don't need to worry about taking any death abuses to get through that final door behind Karok. Just need enough to cast Reflect when we first see him. Mm-hmm. And maybe JJ, maybe this is his comeback here.
Yeah,
he's going to close the gap.
I think he can close the gap. He's still behind by a palace, but he's done P6. He's done P5. Those are some palaces that racers tend to avoid because they don't like doing them. So
Exactly.
So I'd say they're almost even. I think Devious has a slight advantage right now, like in terms of time, but I think, yeah, like you said, JJ can make it back with his magic key.
Yeah, we haven't seen P3 yet. This is our first dive into P3, so we might see Rebanek 2 more rooms in, and that would be really closing the gap here, especially with the next palace right next door.
As far as Zero Wing asking in the chat about sprites from various Nintendo games, specifically TMNT 1 in this game, you can rip sprites from certain games, but you have to keep in mind if they're not the same exact size as Link, you're basically going to have to remake the sprite from scratch. Because when you're working at resolutions this low, you can't just scale something; it'll look god awful. So you have to like Thomas. I was working on a Thomas sprite. I'm going to get back to eventually from Kung Fu, and he's a little bit bigger in Kung Fu, so basically have to remake the whole sprite. But so you can make a TMNT. Will it look exactly like it did in the first game? Not necessarily, but it could still look really good, possibly better. I called them a TMNT. Yeah, I guess that's accurate, actually.
So Devious finally finding Barba there after probably a full clear of P6. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure JJ found a loop back to the beginning of P3. So P3 giving him a little bit of a problem here. It's supposed to be the second smallest palace next to P1. And I guess we'll see what's down this elevator here. Mm-hmm. Could be Rebanek.
That's my first time seeing someone doing that last room with the glove instead of with Fairy. That's a pretty cool room where you have basically 2 options of getting through it, and I think it's pretty well designed.
I absolutely love those community rooms. They have the multiple options. I know that there's only so much you can really do with this game, just based on blocks and just permanent impassable wall placement and whatnot. But it's the creativity has been great, and I'm really looking forward to maybe doing the next room jam as well. I'd like to really try to start mapping out some rooms myself because I might have some ideas. Not going to give anything away so that they don't get stolen. But everyone in chat is just waiting to make Zelda 2 rooms. But yeah, the community rooms are amazing. I know that some runners don't like them. I don't know what that is specifically, whether it's just not being familiar with them or. Again, I don't know. I do prefer having a larger room pool. Again, coming back to some of the seed of the weeks that we're playing from the Z2R Discord, just casually, we have turned off the community rooms in one of the seeds, and so we just have shuffled palaces. And there's only so many rooms to these palaces, so when you shuffle them and they actually roll large in size, you can see the same elevator room like 4 times. And you're like, where am I? I don't know where I am in this palace because there's no community rooms to kind of break up the monotony between just the standard 10 rooms that are found in a palace or that particular palace. So it comes with its own challenges. I don't know. It's, you could argue that makes it more difficult because everything becomes quite a labyrinth at that point and, very confusing and can set you back. Whereas the community rooms allow you to identify things a bit easier, and that could make palaces faster. I don't know. You could argue that either way, I think.
Oh, Jackamus. Yeah. So I was wondering, was it Jackamus or JJ who made it? Yeah, Jackamus in chat. He was the one who made it. He's claiming credit there, and he's a good guy. He wouldn't do that if it wasn't the case. Sorry, I just always forget who made this particular sprite. As far as let's see, Zero Wing in chat was mentioning could you put 2 short characters on top of each other like Lolo and Lola? Yeah, you can. Technically, you could basically do a Goomba and a Koopa in a trench coat. That would be pretty amazing. All right, nice. Devious has the magic key. I guess it's obvious he would have gotten it eventually. It's right from the entrance, and people go right in palaces. So
yeah, that makes sense. But getting it a little late, so I don't know. If we don't see that room block in GP, I don't know. This is potentially, as I had mentioned just a few moments ago, potentially allowing JJ to make his comeback here. He's in P2. Assume Helmet Head is not too far away. Again, I didn't watch Devious map it out, but he was able to reach Helmet Head pretty soon after entering the palace. So unless JJ has taken a completely different way, is this it? This is it.
Yeah,
My money's on it. Yes, that's it. So that's going to be a quick Helmet Head. Attack 5. Should be like 2-3 hits here. Oh, 4.
Nice. Okay.
4 hits.
4 is good. Now, at lower levels, Helmet Head can actually be a little bit dangerous.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I hate Helmet Head at low levels. No, thank you.
Wow. jjschmidt already has life 8. That's
wow.
pretty impressive with the number of palaces he's cleared. So I guess he's going to get a useful level now.
My money's on attack. Yep, attack 6.
Nice. All right, so that means he's going to be entering with 668. Entering GP with 668. Unless he gets lucky somewhere, like 2 500-point P-bags in a row, and, you know, the next boss is worth a lot. Something like that.
Yeah, I think Carrack was worth 700.
That's a lot, but I think that's maximum rolling for Karok, right?
I do believe so. I think the most even like Barba can roll is 1,000. So, yeah, I think other bosses are looking like 500 to 700.
So it's possible. I still don't think we're going to see any levels other than what we get out of the gym here. Especially if he's skipping all the enemies with his face.
Yeah, here we go. We're seeing the I guess we'll call it dash abuse, trying to get through these palaces ASAP. I wonder if he feels like he's a little behind, especially not seeing that connector early on. It's entirely possible. And here is Karok. That was a very, very close to the entrance. Karok taking a death to make sure he can then cast Reflect, does not have enough magic. Devious also taking out Guma pretty quickly at attack 6. No problems there, no deaths. Placing that gem. They're pretty close to each other now. P5... I don't remember where we're next to at this point. I think P5 is in Valley of Death, and then P3 is going to be east out of here through the cave, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to be over on the other side. But
well,
JJ,
from the last palace.
Yeah, JJ is going to be done with Karok here in a moment, and I made a mistake very early on. I wasn't sure where GP was. GP is on the west, and I think it's very close to the starting palace. I think it's just east of the starting palace on the same lower half. I don't even think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this. I don't think they even need to go through the caldera to reach GP. So this should not, so if that's the case, then JJ will definitely be in the GP here in just a moment.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. JJ has pulled it back. It's hard to say exactly, like, where he got this much time. I think the earlier magic key was a big help, but I don't think that was the entirety of the time that he made up.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably Devious dying in these lava encounters.
Probably.
Yeah, so he's...
And I do gotta say, because we were talking about combat earlier, and we've got, people who may or may not have played Zelda 2 in the chat. I don't know how everyone has. The combat is difficult to get a hold of, but it's so fun once you learn it. It's
absolutely
like some of the best combat in the Zelda series, honestly.
This should be GP right here. A nice slate gray.
Boring GP colors.
And entering in just shy of the 1 hour 3 minute mark here. That's pretty good. 63 minutes into GP. I'm not going to scoff at that. Not on a full 6 gem clear.
No, definitely not.
Double king bots here in this room. Kind of annoying. But it's just blame Dig Shake.
I do anyway.
So Devious is going to get upstab. Did not have upstab prior. I did not think he did. So grabbing upstab now. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where he fell behind. He did the palace. Was it not Palace 1? You know what? That's what it was. He did Palace 1 early, and it kind of gave him that right. That was a miss jump by JJ there. He did Palace 1, which is sitting right next to Palace 3 up here. Yeah, right up here. So he did Palace 1 earlier, and he didn't really need to come back here right away. I'm not sure. Maybe on paper, it just looked like he was ahead. Routing wise, obviously not, seeing as JJ's in GP and Devious is clearing his last palace.
And we're seeing a lot of community rooms in a row here. and we've been talking a little bit about sort of the community side of things. So DigShake will, in his next major update, whenever that is, he's probably going to put in a bunch of more community rooms if people make them. You don't have to win a room jam to get your room in. You just submit it, and if he thinks it's good, then he'll put it in. Z2Edit is the program you're looking for, but it's a little obtuse at first, but there's a tutorial that makes things a lot easier to understand. A tutorial on YouTube, I mean.
So JJ, I mentioned this in his previous race where I'm as he's knocking off the rust, as he's learning the 4.0 randomizer, he once again hit a 4-way elevator. He came in from the left, and he checked neither the top or the bottom of the elevator, and that could have been Thunderbird sitting right there at that elevator. And now he went straight right. That's just your standard routing, at least in the old school randomizer for sure. And he's headed to the right. And whether this leads to Thunderbird or not is anyone's guess, but without first checking the top and the bottom of that 4-way elevator, he could have just passed up a very early on Thunderbird, and he just maybe headed the wrong way. And if that's the case, maybe Devious has a chance. Here's another elevator room for him. This is one's a 3-way junction, and the elevator's going to go up. Maybe he'll check it. No, he's not going to check he is not familiar with the 4.0 randomizer in the elevator, the boss rooms being attached to elevators. That's, we're going to have to fill him in on that. I almost wanted to talk to him last time in chat, but I forgot in the post-race interview, but I forgot. And I'm going to have to point that out to him.
But he still could be headed in the right direction, and he has time to lose at this point.
For sure. This is where having the jump spell might come in handy with that Foca up there. If he runs out of magic, he's going to ferry through. That's pretty much probably the way to do this here.
I think he's doomed to a game over at this point. He can't beat Thunderbird at this point with this little magic. He's got 2 game overs. He's got 1 bar of health, 0 bars of health.
Yeah, he took that early death into the lava. I don't know if that was probably worth just an up and A. That was what, like 2-3 rooms in. You hate to see those early deaths.
But this does give Devious a chance to come back, make things more exciting and closer. So, I hate to say this to JJ, but if you take another death, that's probably okay. Make things close. See,
this is what we're going to see. I don't know. I don't know where the drive to use dash in like a lot of these GP rooms early on. We know that the King Bot is there. We know that you're going to faceplane into it, especially with the dash spell, and it might not be worth using that. So, and you're burning through magic. This is a drop room. This is a dead end. He needs to head up that elevator. Oh, Devious also picking up the life spell there. So, okay.
Maybe he thinks he has a time advantage here. I kind of disagree with getting life right before GP. When I'm at GP, I feel very pressured. But, of course, that's just an illusion. Like, time is time, right? Whether you get it earlier or later, it's the same time. But, I don't know. When I'm ready for GP, the only thing I'll stop for is, like, upstab or downstab, that sort of thing. Yeah,
speaking of life, I guess I'll just point out with this flag set, we're looking at a vanilla life refill. Is this the same? This is the same room he was in, but I don't know if it's the same room he was in because we can see duplicates of the same structure of the rooms.
Yeah,
I don't think it is with the Bogos, though.
No, I think it's a different one. Yeah.
I don't know.
He has seen a lot of lava up close. So rooms in GP can loop. This isn't a loop, though. Or is... No,
this is just a multi-level elevator shaft. It's so weird when you see those. I wish they couldn't be put together like that. I wish it would just be one shaft because it's just annoying, especially when you need to check the top and the bottom of like that 4-way elevator that he hasn't done yet. He didn't make his way back there. But if like there's 3 shafts going up and 2 shafts going down, it's like you're covering 6 screens to check the top and bottom of the elevator. It's like, you got to be kidding me. The clock is ticking. This might be a tough room.
Mm-hmm. And Devious is in GP exploring, so yeah, anyone's game at this point. I think JJ's not got that much of an exploration lead.
No, not at all. And if Devious knows to check the elevators, he's going to see more of those. There's little that little peek in on the elevator side to see if one of those just leads to Thunderbird. He's on his way to the 4-way. After this room, it should be, I believe, the 4-way elevator. This room that Devious is in can be incredibly challenging, but there's nothing in it. Usually, if there are flying heads in here, either the raw heads or the square wave heads or even the bogos, and then you've got dots that are flying either horizontal or vertical, that makes that room a whole lot more full of BS, we'll just say. So as long as he checks, is he going to check? Okay, he's going to check.
Okay.
That's a paperclip room up there, and
I think he's just going to go right wherever this is. Nope. Oh, okay.
Not going to commit. That red folk is a little scary.
I would have, just because there's the same chance of it being to the right, up there or down there, but you've already made the trip, and you don't want to make the trip again. So it's
you just commit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like the most successful runner in the world, but I do think that, kind of dealing with those odds, running them in your head is kind of important.
They actually just high-fived. So Devious is headed to the right. And here we go. We're going to commit to this bottom floor. This is either an emoji or waffle room.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, if JJ gets led to Thunderbird.
I'm just glad we're seeing a little bit of a struggle early on in this palace, routing it out. I don't know, an early Thunderbird is fine. That does open up GP at that point, but I do like a little bit of a Thunderbird dig.
This room
again, yeah.
Unfortunately, those bogos aren't dealing much damage to him at life 8.
It's definitely, obviously definitely a different room, though, because the one had a red focus, this one's got an orange one in it. You don't always get those differences, though. Sometimes they look just identical, and you're like, I was here before, but you weren't.
Yeah. Can be tricky. Yeah, GP plays with your head.
And I love every moment of it.
I was actually thinking, can you put the curtains in a room below an object? You could have a walkway outside with curtains below it. That'd be kind of cool.
There's that there's a community room that's like an open air, no roof bridge that goes across. You could maybe slap curtains below that, because it does look a little bare. Maybe curtains to spruce that up a little bit.
All right, we have the crumble bridge version of this room, which is also a community room. So many good GP community rooms. Nice to see.
JJ headed this way. I don't know what he saw and what he didn't see. This is a paperclip. This may actually lead back to the 4-way, or it could just be a copy of this paperclip room.
Interesting.
I'm not doing a very good job at routing this, but if it is the 4-way, so this is a loop.
Oof. So JJ's probably on the right way.
Yeah, Devious is going to now head down there as well.
Were there any lefts we didn't see?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. I wasn't sure after JJ headed down here. I wasn't sure if there are any branching paths. This is actually a branching path, I believe. Yes, it is. That's a drop room versus wherever it's headed here.
So that is a chance for Devious to sort of make a different gamble than JJ and possibly make a comeback. Because right now JJ's in the lead.
Yeah, we've seen at least one drop room, as in the destination drop room. When you see a destination drop room, and we see that other drop room there, the source drop room, what's going through your head? Are you pairing those two together? Are you thinking, I'm not going to take this because this could lead to the drop rooms I already saw that were behind me? Or do you explore further down the line? Or do you just kind of take it? You're like, forget it. Let's just, YOLO.
I think if it were an older version and that it's going to have, 3 or 4 drops or whatever it is, I think I would make the gamble, because there's only a 1/4 chance that it's going to lead to the drop destination behind me. However, in this situation, we can have GPs that don't necessarily have that many drop rooms.
Yeah.
So I would go with what I see in this version of the randomizer and just say, no, I'm not going to take the drop.
I was in a GP recently. I have found 4 dead end drop room destination rooms, and I eventually found the drop. Just one drop, and I was like, well, this has to lead to one of those 4 rooms I've already seen and mapped out. This was in a long GP as well. And of course it wasn't. I spent 40 minutes in this GP, and that one drop led to a brand new drop room that just led to Darklink. And that was it. I just couldn't believe it. I was very frustrated, but rando gonna rando. It's just unlucky that it ended up that way. But it totally psyched me out. It just, it called my bluff. I was like, I'm not going to take that. They're like, you should take that.
Oh my gosh, Devious taking a horrible death there.
Yeah, that jump sucks, man. Did he not have enough magic to do anything there?
No. Well, no, he did. I think he just thought he could make it. And I mean, he does still have to face off against Thunderbird, so he was on his last life.
That's true.
You have to, for those who are new to the randomizer, you do have to reserve an amount of magic for defeating the Thunderbird, because if you don't have enough magic to cast Thunder, you literally can't hurt him. However, I mean, it's possible you get lucky and you get like a red jar or something right before Thunderbird. That's possible, but just to be on the safe side, if you're on your last life, you kind of want to conserve that magic. Yeah,
probably not worth banking on the red jar too often. Yeah. Unless, of course, you played the seed all up to this point and red jars are they're everywhere, like large enemy set, small enemy set. It's entirely possible that it ends up that way. Yeah. So maybe that's worth taking a gamble on then, but, usually not. And those jumps that he did try to make, he can make those jumps in that room. That's going to be like the full distance that Link has to jump in those rooms. They're very tricky. You have to take it to the very edge of that jump, of that platform, before making the jump, which if you misstep, if you take it too far, then obviously you end up in the lava. And if you don't take it far enough, then when you jump, you don't jump far enough and you end up in the lava. So
well, that's kind of cool. Devious trapped that red folk.
I saw that. So I was going to say he can get the red jar out of the statue if it's got one.
That was good luck for him, because if a red folk appeared there, it might have been a bad news.
JJ tried it on his end. He had a block as well in that crumbly bridge fake out fairy room where it's got a block as well. It turns into a Foca, but his did red jar 50-50 red jar Foca. His did turn into a Foca.
Yeah, all of the jar locations in this palace, and this palace only, have a 50-50 chance of turning into a horrible enemy, the red Foca that you see on screen right now, or a very helpful red jar. If you off-screen the result of that before you kill the red Foca or collect the jar, then you can make that 50-50 flip again when you come back. Off-screen's a bad way to say it. You got to go into another room, and then you can do that again. But if you kill the red Foca or you collect the jar, then you can't do that until you die again.
Something else about those particular blocks as well, again, coming back to that crumbly bridge fake out fairy room, if we see it again, I'll point it out. You can actually upstab that block from down below, and I believe it actually doesn't do anything. It nulls out, it won't drop the block or produce the Foca. I believe that is the case. So if you ever do see that, that's probably why you're not seeing anything out of that block.
Interesting.
I think this is new territory here for Devious. We did see that fairy room, the fairy blocked off on the one side. It's a mirrored room, and now we're in a waffle room that we did not see before.
Meanwhile, JJ is taking the drop.
That's always fun to see the way that these two things. Oh, that's it. That's the move. So he's like 2 rooms behind here, and that's going to lead to Thunderbird.
Was Devious just here?
Yeah, that's where he just came through.
That's awesome.
Unless it's a copy, unless it's a duplicate room.
Okay, JJ, you got to go fast, buddy. This might be the time to use the dash spell. Okay,
right.
Not anymore, but...
Yeah, just through this waffle, there's going to be an elevator at the other end, and that's going to lead to Thunderbird, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably going to be Darklink right afterwards, because we've seen a lot of GP.
We have, and it's another disappointing thing seeing Darklink right after. I like to see a dig for Thunderbird, and then a little bit more of a dig afterwards, just kind of test the runners. Because Thunderbird always drains your magic, and then you're like, oh, I hope, as a runner, you hope Darklink is right next door. But as an audience member, not so much.
Well, yeah. A simultaneous Thunderbird. Of course, Devious does have a big time advantage here, and I say big even though it's only like 30 seconds, but at this point, every second counts.
I was going to say, you could take a hit, and that would be a death right there. That's going to reset that encounter.
Now will JJ's increased experience over Devious make the pivotal choice here? Because yeah, JJ's fought Thunderbird probably more times than Devious has, and the Thunderbird fight has not changed in the randomizer.
No, yeah. And I still suck at it, so yeah.
Ooh, JJ also has taken 2 bops so far and used up the remainder of his magic.
They're both at this attack level 6, so it's going to be the same hit, same amount of hits for both of them. How many of that it comes down to, depending on the randomized health and everything.
Now, no matter who wins, we could say you lost because you died at Thunderbird.
Yeah. Was there something else? Also, the JJ got it first. Okay, so also the getting the item out of New Kasuda, you can just like nitpick all of the small little things that each of them did, to like time save or something, shave off seconds here or there. But yeah, this. Oh man.
Here's the interesting thing, though. JJ can't cast any spells. Maybe shield.
Oh no!
So
That's right.
He can be killed by Dark Link here.
This is gonna be, not to give too much away, but this could be a replay of what we saw the other night. Oh, that would be so terrible.
Devious is gonna take this.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my gosh. Unless Devious has bad form in taking on Dark Link here.
Yeah, he's gonna have to take like 3 hits to die though.
Oh, JJ is doing this faster. Holy crap!
No way.
No way! Oh, so close!
Oh, no way.
Oh my god. GG's everyone.
I can't believe this. This was amazing.
Now we're going to see Suitless Samus here reviving Zelda. Nice. She's going to be back in her suit in a second, though. Wow, what a race.
Wow.
Let's JJ, before we jump in, is Devious going to jump in? I'd like to. Yeah, that was incredible. This was insane.
Man. GG's to him, but that's 2 in a row with the Jay Coper one.
Yeah.
Were you guys in that one too? I think you were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. If I came in with no health again.
You almost never see games that are this close.
I don't know what was the time difference. Well, I guess I didn't technically finish.
Didn't?
I started screwing around with Dark Link in that one.
Yeah, but I mean, did you already see the dot done when you start screwing around right there?
No. But I thought it was faster. I don't know.
It actually can be faster to man mode Dark Link. Yeah, if you can do it.
Yeah, I got a few in early, and then I thought I had him on a good rhythm, but I don't think it would have mattered. But I guess we'll never know. But dang, man! All right, I'm still recovering.
Yeah, I think we all are, honestly, after a race like that.
Wow. Yeah.
He must have. I felt like I played pretty well. So
you did.
I couldn't think of anything that went wrong. I mean, GP was a mess, but so. Was he in first or was I in first?
You were in first.
Into GP, yeah.
Yeah, but he got to Thunderbird faster, but he died on Thunderbird. But when you beat Thunderbird, of course, you only had 1 heart container left, or less than 1 heart container left, and you didn't have enough magic to cast shield. So
I thought I'd mix it up and do the stand-up strats, and then he just stabbed right in the crotch right away.
Yeah, so we were on the edges of our seats there. I have 2 seats, and I was on both of their edges.
JJ, I wanted to ask. I think we saw this happen in the last one as well. When it comes to the 4.0 randomizer, I know that you've kind of been out of it for a little bit here, and coming back to the 4.0 randomizer with the changes. Are you familiar with the there's a change that was made to the 4.0 randomizer here where boss rooms can be attached directly to the top or bottom of an elevator? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. We saw you go through.
It feels like it's. Oh, sorry.
Well, we saw you go through that first 4-way room. There was a 4-way room with that elevator in the middle, and you went right first before checking up or down. Obviously, Thunderbird was not that close in, so it worked out. But Thunderbird could have been right at the bottom of that first elevator you found, that 4-way, and we were wondering if that was going to set you back because you didn't check that way, right? You just headed straight right.
Is it more? It feels like it's more like. I guess I didn't know. I know it's possible, but it seems like it's way more likely to be the elevator. I guess.
I think it's pretty much even, but there's 2 ways the elevator can go. So.
Yeah.
So that might be 2/3 chance for the elevator then.
Oh, I got you. So
just depending.
Up and down would have an equal chances, right?
Yeah, I think. You could ask Digshake.
It makes sense.
All right, and Devious did join us in chat about a minute ago, and we want to say, GG, that was an incredible race to watch.
Fantastic race.
GG's, sir.
We are not hearing you right now. So if you're on push to talk, make sure you're hitting that push to talk key.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Random things, but GG's, man. Wow, that must have been insane. That great race. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it back.
Yeah,
Same.
definitely worth a watch back. Devious had a slight bit of an edge. She actually found Hammer Cave and got a magic container early on. We were wondering if that was going to help with casting Fairy because we weren't seeing the magic key, and we didn't for a while. So it did come down to Fairy casting to get through doors when we went into palaces.
Mm-hmm.
And so Devious did have that extra magic container for a little while. Fairy did become fairly cheap, and so at some point, JJ could also cast it twice, given his mana pool. But so Devious found Hammer Cave, got the magic container out of there, also found the first one to the east as well, digging up the connector cave there in Death Mountain as well. So Devious had a good bit of edge on you, JJ, and he made it all the way through, and Devious actually had a key that he had picked up from Medicine Cave, I believe it was, way back in Medicine Cave. And then he dove into P1 and killed Horsehead. There were no key blocks along the way. Killed Horsehead, got through there, and placed the gem very early on. He had actually placed, I believe it was 3 gems. When you watch it back, you can confirm that. But 3 gems before you even placed your first. But you picked P6. JJ picked P6 early on. And or for your first palace, you picked P6. You found Barba a whole lot sooner than Devious did. Devious, you were in there for quite a while doing a full clear of P6, and that allowed that probably overall when you find all the time closer, the gap closers and whatnot, that was probably something that really played into it there early on. JJ pushed through P6, found Barba pretty early on. Then he went into P5 after that in the middle of Death Valley. And he got the magic key in his second palace, so he no longer had to worry about taking any sort of death abuse for fairies and whatnot. We saw Devious, we saw you in P4 when you got to Karok. Just as an example, you had enough to cast Reflect, but then you had to go back out, take a death in the lava so you could cast Fairy to get through on your last life. That was something that might have been another one of those things that kind of just the way that it played out with JJ finding the magic key sooner than you did and not having to take those or rely on any sort of death abuses and Fairy casts and being able to waste his magic elsewhere. Just small things like that you can't predict ahead of time. And I think just all of that came down to it. And JJ was first into GP, routed a lot of it, routed a good bit of GP. JJ he's pretty good at routing GP all the way through. Devious, you took the drop, and the drop was obviously the right way. You both filled out a good bit of GP, but Devious, you did take that drop, which led to Thunderbird eventually. And funny enough, JJ had already routed everything else at that point, so he was right. He was right behind you. You were both on Thunderbird at the same point in time. You got there first. You took the death and reset the encounter. JJ was able to push through on that life. He hit Darklink. He hit Darklink with 1 heart container. And no magic to cast anything. He hit it first, but he died on Darklink. Darklink smacked him, and he took a death, and then you took it because of that. That's why that was 9 seconds apart from each other. Yeah, that's how that played out.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wow.
Yeah, man. Darklink is straight up costing me race.
And it's funny because Devious, I don't know if you're familiar with this. JJ, okay, I gotta give a spoiler. I do apologize, audience. JJ lost pretty much the same way to Jay Coper in his last race. He was the first one to Darklink ahead of Jay Coper, took the death, had to go all the way through. That was the game over as well, unfortunately. You got set back, and then Jay Coper did eventually reach Darklink before you, but it was still a pretty close finish there. But you almost, so this is 2 in a row, like you said, back to back, where you got to Darklink first and he smacked you and it cost you. Man.
Well,
what a race. That's what we saw from our perspective.
Exactly. And with all of that, like, the real winners here were the viewers.
For real.
Yeah.
That was
happy about that. My goal was to win a race, and I got that out of the way early because so I'm just happy I'm competitive in these.
Yeah.
You guys. So.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. This is my first time like actually diving into something with a Z2. And I keep telling people I've tried to train for this game like 3 or 4 different times, and I finally got to the point where it's like, okay, I can actually finish a seed now. So yeah, just coming in and like being able to compete, having a close run. I wanted like same thing as you, was just like, hey, it'd be nice to win one. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm excited to watch this back for sure.
So have you been doing a lot of practicing? Because I noticed you were, I haven't actually seen you race ever before, but you're pretty good.
Well, I mean, this is one of 3 tournaments I'm in right now. I'm a Final Fantasy 1 randomizer runner at heart. That's where I started, and we just launched the co-op tournament there, and I'm doing the SMZ3 co-op. So I've been putting like Z2 in the, like, I'm trying to practice for all 3 at the same time, and haven't really done any like weeklies or anything with Z2. I signed up for this like 6 months ago, I think, when it first came out, and have just steadily been practicing kind of independently for a while. But it's kind of started to come together in these last couple weeks. But yeah, it's taken a lot of work. It's definitely taken a lot of work.
One of the first custom sprites I wanted to do was a fighter with sword chucks. I don't know if you watched.
Oh, that's so good.
It would have been, but I was like, the sizes of the sprites are different, so I basically have to redraw it, and I don't know if it would be nostalgic if it was a redrawn sprite.
Yeah, I like if you can get the proportions right. Oh, I would love it. I'd play it every time. I do the Samus because of my SMZ3 background. But man, I'd abandon Samus for the fighter any day.
Yeah. Next up for me has been then I want to do Fusion Suit Samus before the new Metroid game comes out. Then maybe after that, we'll see. I've got other things I want to do.
Yeah.
I did have a question now that you're talking about how you've been practicing like crazy. We were talking about this earlier in the stream about some people were saying they were interested in this and whatnot. We were talking about how routing and understanding the logic is pretty easy, but the combat is the tough part. Do you feel the same way? Was the combat kind of unforgiving at first, or do you have a different perspective?
At first and now, like that first pass through cave. Honestly, I kind of had a panic moment because
the red Gyra.
Yeah, like that. Like back when I was first playing, like that was reset seed or like try to grind a couple levels forever, and just like trying to figure out different ways to like get to the other side. I think I tried to get to the other side, take body damage, which was less than axe damage, and then try to stun lock it in the corner, and then it finally worked. And then you watch people watching like a lot of the top runners run, and just how they can manipulate enemies, how they, rising attacks as well as like crouch stabs. It's so complicated that it takes hours to like not die, and then hours and hours to kill something, and then hours and hours and hours to kill it quickly. So it's combat. Like I I was actually running Mega Man 2 Randomizer for a little while at the same time as Final Fantasy. I always said that this is like that perfect mix between an RPG and combat that's intense. So that's actually one of the things that brought me to this game, and it never ceases to disappoint.
Oh, you mean never fails to deliver? Or...
Yeah, I would say never fails to deliver. Yeah. I get disappointed in myself. The game is just like, hey, here, this is really hard. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that Zelda 2 has sort of been that perfect mix you're looking for. How do you say it compares to the other randomizers that you play, like in terms of your enjoyment?
This was beat your head against the wall for a while because it takes so much to just be able to beat one seed. I know during spring break, I practiced this game. I'm a teacher, so I practiced for the entire spring break. I think I finally won a single seed after like a full week of practice. And so once you started finishing seeds, this became a lot more enjoyable. I mean, I run so many, and they're all like, I like them all for different reasons. Sometimes it just kind of depends on mood, but like Z2 is unique in the sense that like all of the other randos I do, you pretty much always finish the seed. It might take you forever, but you always finish. 2 has like a threshold to it. Like if you're gonna beat this seed, you need to be at least this good. And so once like that challenge I kept coming back to, and then once it was like, okay, I can actually start beating seed, that's when like the enjoyment just skyrocketed.
Yeah. I agree on that. As a fairly new runner myself, like my first seed I ever did was like a 4.5 hour run. I was like, this is going to take forever. But very quickly, I brought it below 2 hours. And, this was you guys did great on this seed. I mean, 81 minutes. This was, that start was a little rough with tons of red diras everywhere. And that can be, as you say, one of the things that really causes you to just reset the seed to be like, I'm done with this. Forget this. These red diras, this is impossible. I don't know how these pro runners do it. But then you start to kind of understand the combat better, the manipulation, the way to attack. And it just becomes so satisfying once you really get a grasp of that. And both of you, JJ is a bit of a veteran here, but again, somewhat new coming back to the 4.0 randomizer, but has done stuff in the past with the 3.0 randomizer. And so he has a good grasp on a lot of this stuff. And both of you play this very well. As JJ said when he first came in, I don't think I really did anything wrong. We didn't really see anything on our side that you guys really did wrong other than just the few things we pointed out. And as you said very early on that jump cave pass through with the red Dyra, you got to get the neutral jump over him so you can pin him against the step. We were talking about that specifically. That's so funny. It's just all about the learning the combat. And then it all just, it really just begins to flow. And it's kind of a dance in a way. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's,
And the good news, as kind of, I think I'm the old man in the room as far as the random. The good news is you can pick it up and put it down, and the combat is like riding a bike. So once you kind of unlock these things, they come right back to you.
Right.
We said that too. We said that too about riding a bike, about how one of this old runners, Nightcrawler bought her Buzz Thunder.
I think that was in the last one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you got. Yeah, I rewatched that, and I think you mentioned, those guys that just don't play and then come in and they're fine.
Yeah,
pretty much true. You just learn the changes, and then the combat's all the same.
Well, maybe the randomizer will change that too. Maybe you're just gonna half jump height for forever.
No.
You guys have some sick ideas.
Yeah, people will hate me. Yeah, I can't do that rising, crouching stab followed by a stab on the way down. I can't do that yet. You need some quick fingers to do that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm not anywhere like Trails and and Big Shake and all those guys that can just pound the crap out of everything. that's a whole different level that you'd have to. I don't know how long you have to play to get there.
But every now and then you can still take games off of them, so that's nice about this.
Yeah, that's the great thing about randomizer. Or I guess you could be like Trails and just play like 5 seeds a day for 4.5 years. How you do it?
Yeah, nobody has ever said with a serious face that Trails didn't earn his ranking.
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
I would remember, I think I was before him by a little bit, and then, man, he just played every day all the time and just started killing it eventually, obviously.
Yeah, me and Trail started around the same time, and we were kind of around the same skill level for a while, and then, yeah, his training and constant practice just had him, shoot by me. I was like, okay, well, we were competitive for a while, but...
So the more we do commentary, the more I've watched these races, and there's a bunch of new faces, and there's even veterans that are coming back that are just knocking the dust off. I had the opportunity to jump into this this tournament here, and I didn't, and now I'm kind of regretting it, seeing all of these new people showing up and holding their own. And I really wanted to be a little bit better and a little bit more competitive before I jumped in, but honestly, I probably should have just jumped in. I should have. So, yeah, maybe the next tournament, which will be a very punishing max rando tournament, I'm sure.
Let that be. Let that be a lesson to everyone watching right now for any randomizer that you're on the fence about. Just jump in, because
just get in there. Yeah.
You'll learn new things.
And I do want to add 2 points real quick. When you're playing by yourself, you can select flags that make things a lot easier for you. And even if you are racing and you pull up a time of like 4 hours, no one's going to make fun of you. No one made fun of me when I pulled in times of 4 hours in my first time racing.
No way.
So.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like the rando tournaments these days have moved towards like a pod style or a qualifier style, as opposed to a lot of head-on-head. And I think that makes it a lot easier for like new people like myself to kind of take that risk. And, anytime you get restreamed in that environment and you have people who are able to comment on things that you never think of as a new player. I know when I was first doing Final Fantasy, I'd finish about an hour after other people on restream, and met a lot of nice friends and got a lot of help that whole process. Big fan of the rando communities.
Yeah, rando communities are awesome.
Yeah, the Z2R Discord has tons of players in there as well that'll answer questions, and anyone wants to, especially when you look at some of the people who stream. Again, if you're watching Trails, he's streaming pretty much every single day. Z2R somewhere along the way, you can check him out, and it helps to watch as a new player. You really don't know what's possible because these things really just don't reveal themselves, especially in the way of combat. They just don't reveal themselves. Double hits, what the hell is that? And then you see someone do it, and you're like, oh, wow, and then you're like, that's possible, and it's like, well. You watch a lot of the top runners do that. They do it flawlessly, and it's extremely satisfying to watch. And then you're trying to do that, and it's very clunky. You're having a very difficult time executing that. And then eventually, enough practice, and you get there. And we're not talking like, again, you don't have to have 4 years and 2,000 seeds of practice under your belt. But, it does take a little bit. And as Nightcrawler pointed out, you can make things easier. There's tons of flags and whatnot. You can up the effectiveness of attack and life to just stay alive a little bit longer, perform a little bit better in combat, make things easier. And then as you become comfortable with everything, turn the settings down a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult and whatnot. And that's a lot of things in life, really, but it's definitely true for the Z2 randomizer.
Yeah. So, JJ, were you in the Dragon Warrior randomizer tournament right now? Okay, cool. Yeah. How's that going so far?
Okay. Oh, they just did the reveal for week 1 Swiss today. I've got a race sometime this week for that. Oh, cool. And I got to wrap this group up on Tuesday night.
Nice. So, yeah, everyone in chat, if you are interested in Dragon Warrior Randomizer, like if you're new to the Dragon Warrior community since, gotten to Smash, and since Dragon Warrior 11, became a big hit on the Switch and the PS3 and Steam and all that sort of stuff. If you want to see some of the older games, or if you're an old fan and you want to see, the older games sort of mixed up, check out JJ Schmidt's channel. And of course, if you want to see the other side of things, the other side of Square Enix, it sounds like you can get plenty of that from DeviousRNG's channel. So you got both sides of Square Enix here.
Yeah, you get a lot of crazy stuff. I love randos, so all like Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Zelda 3. I don't really do Mega Man 2 anymore. Super Metroid, SMZ3, Final Fantasy. You get a whole bunch of different stuff. So if you like randos, I love randos, and yeah, feel free to stop by.
Yeah, I guess that'll probably take us out on this. Angry Demon Noises, who's been our restreamer today. I believe he's going to take us out soon. And of course, thanks to Patrick for being our tracker. And
All right,
to
and
all of you.
that is my cue to take things away. So coming up on ZSR, as far as Zelda 2 Randomizer is concerned, we have another match with JJ Schmidt and Cross Product on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And right after that will be the Zelda 2 Randomizer weekly race as well. So if you guys are looking for more Z2R, we've got some coming up. In the meantime, today we will go ahead and raid React. They're doing vanilla all keys. And thanks so much for coming, everyone. Big thanks to the comms, and this was a pretty crazy fun match to watch.
Yeah.